There's an urban legend about Ernest Hemingway, and it is said that sometime in the 1920s, his friends made him a bet while they were having lunch together, probably at the Algonquin Hotel. And the bet was, could he write a story with a full narrative in just 6 words? And the story goes that Hemingway wrote these 6 words: "For sale, baby shoes, never worn." Yes, his friends agreed that it was a complete narrative in just 6 words, and Hemingway collected his money. It is powerful to describe complete ideas, important ideas, ideas that are central to one's belief about themselves and the world in just 6 words. The number of years ago, NPR picked up on this idea and created a 6-word challenge in Miami some of you may remember. Here is one of my favorites. Miami Bar Mitzvah dances hora and merengue. Other 6-word stories include, from a mother, happy teenage daughters equal mother's peace. And when I earned my executive certificate in transformational leadership, then Notre Dame, I wrote, "Fighting Irish, teach Rabbi new shtick." Actress Molly Ringwald is also included in a book of 6-word memoirs, and her memoir says, "Acting is not all I am." Now, I bet that some of you are thinking just at this moment, I would love a 6-word sermon. Well, maybe next Shabbat. This Shabbat, also, of course, Tu B'Av that we've heard, is also called Shabbat Nachamu, the Shabbat of comfort or consolation. And it gets its name from the words of the Haftarah from the book of Isaiah. In 6 English words, we are offered solace following the destruction of the temples in Jerusalem and our people's 2,000-year exile from the land of Israel, and we commemorated this last week on Tisha B'Av. Isaiah has these words for us: comfort ye, my people." These words express the Jewish people's belief that God never abandons us. In only 6 words. Yet, the most important and famous words of the Jewish people are found in this week's Torah portion, Ba'et Hanan. Moses, continuing his final words to the Israelites before he dies, reviews the revelation of Torah and gives the 6-word declaration we call the watchword of our faith. It's probably the most known Hebrew sentence to Jews, and it is pronounced throughout the lifetime of a Jew. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. It's woven throughout our entire life cycle. According to the Sefer HaChinuch, the book of education, a 13th century rabbinic text from Spain, the Shema should begin to be taught to a child as young as 3. It is part of our morning and evening prayer service. It is said every time we take the Torah out of the ark. It is the prayer we say before going to bed at night. It is stated at the climax of Yom Kippur. And these 6 words are the last 6 words we utter at the time of our death. It is so important that the Talmud says, in order to make sure you understand it, you can recite the Shema in any language you know. And we are permitted to say the Shema wherever we are, walking, standing, lying down, sitting, working, even riding on an animal. The trick is, if you don't pay attention while you are reciting the Shema out loud, then you have not fulfilled the commandment. And sometimes when we sign the Shema with children, we say, Shema, pay attention. Yes, it's true, reciting the Shema is not just something that we pray, it is counted as one of the 613 commandments. For most of us, it rolls off our lips, usually in song. For children in Jewish day schools, it is a holistic part of their morning routine. And it is not unusual for a day school grad to comment to me, "Yes, Rabbi, I like middle school, but we don't say the Shema following the Pledge of Allegiance." They go so nicely together. Pledge of Allegiance, right into the Shema. Because like the Pledge of Allegiance that describes our relationship to this country, the Shema describes our relationship to God. How is it that our relationship to God is described within the Shema? Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai is our God. And that describes this unique Jewish relationship with God. For we, the Jewish people, have the responsibility of the commandments. Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel. The commandment that God is alone, solitary, one. The Rashbam, Rashi's grandson and medieval commentator, expounds on the words Adonai Echad, Adonai is one, explaining our relationship is a direct one. We have no man-made intermediary such as charms or amulets, no red bracelet on my wrist tonight. Adonai is one means no one stands between us and God. No one needs to translate our thoughts, our ideas, feelings, or beliefs, or authenticate them. For we do that directly. It is this close feeling expressed in the Shema that has made it such an enduring connection and prayer for our people, enduring even in Hebrew. There are stories told from the time immediately following the Holocaust, how rabbis and emissaries from Jewish agencies would go back through Europe seeking the Jewish children who were saved in convents and monasteries and orphanages. They had taken in and saved the Jewish children's lives. And after the war, many of the churches did not want to return the Jewish children to the Jewish community, or they weren't sure who was Jewish because of all the confusion during wartime and who ended up with them to be saved. So the rabbis would approach the young children and whisper to them, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And the children would run to the rabbis, crying out for their mothers, remembering the Shema she sang to them at bedtime. And through the 6 words of the Shema, these children were reunited with the Jewish people. Through the 6 words of the Jewish people. Madeleine Albright, she told her story in 6 words too. In 1948, I was a refugee. And the TV and movie producer Melvin Marr told his story in 6 words. I owe it to my father. And tonight's story, reciting the Shema, Jews stay Jewish. 2, 3, 4, 6. What are the 6 words that tell your story? Shabbat Shalom.